Through an intercom speaker, a woman spoke to the Nova Corps police officers and she said, "Stand down, don't shoot at him or that suit, because the first Nova Corps police officer that shoots him will be arrested for attempted murder of an innocent man." And then all the police officers quickly holstered their guns, and then she said, "Bring that man to me alive without handcuffs on him or anything like that, because he did nothing wrong, no one is to harm him or his alien friend." And then Gold Rush said, "Thank you pretty lady," really loud, and then Irani Rail smiled and said, "You're welcome handsome." And right after I met Irani Rail, I told her that I have the powers of a true god and I will bring in Ronan the Accuser alive along with the rest of his people, but after I do this I want a few people released from prison no matter what their crimes were." And then Irani Rail said, "Okay, just tell me their names." And then I said, "I also want to work for your Nova Corps police force if that's okay." And then Peter Quill said, "Dude, are you sure you want to do that?" And then I said, "Yes Peter Quill, it will be fine, just trust me." And then Irani Rail smiled at me like a pervert and she said, "Yes, you can definitely join our ranks." And then I said, "I'm part of a special hero task force called SHIELD and I also work with the Avengers." And since Tony Stark was also there, he showed Irani Rail all the proof of my powers along with all my feats and she said, "This is you." And then she blew it up on her large screen and everyone else present said, "Wow and cool." And then Irani Rail said, "You have remarkable abilities, you can heal people and prevent casualties with your powers." And I said, "I don't need a gun." And Irani Rail said, "Yes, I saw that." And then Irani Rail said, "I'll let you become one of us, but only because I want to capture that evil bastard Ronan the Accuser along with the rest of his war criminal people." And then I said, "I can bring them all in alive." And then Irani Rail said, "Well, I understand that Ronan the Accuser is very dangerous and that it may not be possible to bring him in alive." And then I said, "I can do it, but in exchange I want to free some people from prison." And then Irani Rail said, "Okay, just tell me their names." And then I said the names of the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy: Drax the Destroyer, Groot and Rocket Raccoon, Gamora. And then my wife Hela said, "Why would you even want to free those people? They tried to collect a bounty on your head." And then I said quietly to Hela, "They will get their bounty because I know who put the bounty on my head." And then Hela asked me who was it, and then I said, "Thanos. He wishes to speak with me about his plans and he actually hopes to convince me to join his side along with me and the rest of my family, including you, along with the Asgardians." And then Hela said, "Maybe we should hear him out, my love." And then I said, "I think it might also be a trap if I say no to him." And then Hela said, "You still have all the Infinity Stones and your magic gauntlet, so he shouldn't be able to take them, correct?" And then I said, "Yes, he can't take them from me, I have to give them to him willingly, and that's the only way he can get my Infinity Stones. But Thanos can't fool me because I will be able to see through all his tricks and he knows that, so that's why he is trying to forge an alliance between me and his people." And then I opened a portal to the Kree spaceship of Ronan where I arrested all of Ronan the Accuser's people and Ronan the Accuser himself. And then right after I freed Rocket Raccoon, he said, "I'm collecting the bounties on both of your heads." And then I said, "Well, I could have left you in prison, Rocket, so will you hear me out first?" And then I made a plan against Thanos in case I decided to say no to his plan, which I probably will. So I told Rocket Raccoon that I can pay you trillions of units using my powers, but I know that's not all you want your friends back, Floor, Teefs and Lilla. I know you love them, Rocket, and they were all taken away from you too early, and I can bring them all back to life and perfectly restored better than what they were." And then Rocket Raccoon said, "One condition, bring my friends back now. Floor, Teefs and Lilla, I want all of them back right here and right now." And then I used my powers to perfectly restore and even improve all of Rocket Raccoon's little animal friends. I made Teefs look like a perfect animal walrus that can also walk, and I gave them all invincible cybernetics made out of first divine metal, and they all have invincible energy weapons and force field technology. And for Lilla I did something special, I made her look like a beautiful curvy female otter, whatever she is, and she can procreate with any animal and also have sex with any animal. And Rocket Raccoon said Lilla, and he fell to his knees when he saw all his friends alive again and perfect like they were never experimented on by the high evolutionary. And then I said, "Don't worry, Rocket, I brought your friends back better than ever."